Hello everyone, Silent here, and welcome back to another episode of Truly Bedrock Season 2. I hope you're doing great today. Today, we're going to be working on a bunch of different stuff around our farming area of bases. We have many projects to complete. It's going to be kind of a variety episode. We got to do some technical builds, we got to do some iron farming, we got to do some maybe decoration, a bit of planning, basically a whole lot of absolutely everything, and really get this place going in a good direction. So let's hop into planning. We seriously got a lot to do, and we should just jump into it. We're gonna be a little bit proactive today and make a list of things to do, and first thing on that list is to fix iron farms. Fix iron farms. Okay, I'm gonna type this off camera because I don't know how to type. These are my current ambitions. We'll see how much of this happens in today's episode, but we're gonna fix the iron farms, get many iron, and eventually I want to set up a 16 tuple beacon, so have a quad beacon in each corner of the ocean monument. That way we got beacon effects absolutely everywhere, and that'll be rather convenient and nice. This beacon's good, but I need 15 more of them. That would be nice. And then once we get the many iron farms, we'll be able to lower down the Kelp Farm item collection, which will of course also result in more profit, and then we'll have to figure out how to decorate it. So the issue with the kelp farms is that they are built above the water, so if we lower them down by just 4 blocks, it'll actually kind of blend a lot more with the guardian farm. So the idea behind this is the guardian farm is completely below the level of the sea, and then the kelp farm is completely above the level of the sea, which doesn't really make any sense to me, so we're gonna lower down the kelp farm item collection. And item number 3 on the list for today is to plan out the base and make a scale model of it. That way we can actually have a roadmap going forward. This will also result in many profits, but then we have to actually do work, building the base. So that's the idea. Let's get into it and try to fix those iron farms, shall we? Just a little recap for those of you who missed the previous episode. The southern and eastern iron farms are working perfectly fine. Those both spawned iron golems as we're standing here at the AFK spot. However, the western iron farm, which is that one over there, and the northern one, which you can just barely see through those hoppers, do not spawn iron golems as we're standing here at the AFK spot. Now, my only working hypothesis and theory as to why those two do not work is because the leader's bed, or the center of the village, is simply too far away. So the center of the village is more towards the back of the farm, whereas the center should be more towards the front of the farm. Both of those iron farms do fully function as we're standing up there by them, which proves that it's not a bed issue or a linking to the workstation issue or anything like that. It's simply an AFK spot issue, and the only way to really fix that, from what I can tell, would be to move the center of the village. Riptide is kind of an annoying thing. Also, I'm out of rockets again, and I have no way of getting up to those iron farms without doing this little Riptide bouncy jumping leapfrog thing. It does kind of work, but just barely. Oof, just barely. As you can probably hear, this iron farm is working, and it's got iron golems in the kill chamber, so it works perfectly fine, but it doesn't work as we're standing at the AFK spot, which of course is where we need the iron farms to function. Now, lucky for us, that iron farm actually does have the leader's bed marked out with a different color. So we can very easily go up to this iron farm and see where the center of the village is. See, this one cranks out the iron golems. It's super good. So this right here is the center of the village, and if I go ahead and break that bed, the leader of the village is going to link to another bed. Now, lucky for me, I already know that this entire row right here, and a couple of these beds, and a couple of these beds to the left, those ones are already taken by the other 9 villagers in that pod right there. So our leader should unlink from that bed, and then instantly link over to one on this side, making that the new center of the village. And then all we gotta do is go down to the AFK spot and simply see if it starts working from there. If that does work, then we can tackle the western iron farm. That one, I do not know where the center of the village is. This iron farm really cranks. I've gotten 4 golems within 1 minute. 1 minute! There's been no time in between cuts or clips here. So this thing cranks great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and try and see which bed the villager links to. I'm not exactly sure the best way to do this. I think I'm going to remove these blocks real quick. That way we can see the particles above the bed and know exactly where the leader links to. This is very, very nerve-wracking, and I hope that this actually goes as I planned. Also, these beds are definitely not symmetrical, like, at all. These two beds should be rotated 90 degrees, but I'm not gonna worry about that. Anyway, nervous time. Let's see if we ruin the entire farm and have to rebuild it, or if it just works properly. Pay very close attention to where we get green particles, please. Green particles above this bed? Okay, great. I'm going to mark that real quick with a trapdoor or something, and then we will know that this is now the leader's bed. Okay, great. Let me go ahead and rebuild the iron farm and go down and AFK for a little while at the guardian farm. We'll see if we get any iron golems up here and hopefully profit. Okay, well that didn't work, so apparently it's still not close enough. I went AFK down there for maybe like 10 minutes or so. There's only 5 iron in the chest, and that's probably from, you know, the golem that spawned right as we were leaving. So hopefully if I break this bed, the leader will then link to maybe this one over here. That's the best I can hope for currently. Here goes nothing, round 2. So this is currently the leader's bed. We're gonna go ahead and break this dude, hopefully. And he is now linked to this one. Okay, that is a little bit closer by like 2 blocks, so maybe that'll just about do it. I'll go ahead and repair all this and AFK again and see what's up. Brute forcing the solution until I find a solution. Number 3, break this bed, and the leader's gonna link to this one. That is not good enough, so we are going to try that again. Aha, there we go. Finally, it's on the closest bed to the AFK spot. I'm gonna try and keep it there, and hopefully this is the actual solution that we're looking for. If this doesn't work, we're gonna have to go and do some extra research and try and figure out what in the world's happening here. Okay, so we did actually fix the iron farm. I went AFK for a little while, and we now got 52 iron in here. Great, so that is 3 out of 4, and that was the easy one to fix. All things considered, that was pretty straightforward. Now, the difficult one to fix is going to be this dude right here, because I have no idea where the center of the village is. We're going to have to pull some shenanigans to find out exactly where that is, and for that, we're actually going to need to leave the game and hop into a program called MCC Tool Chest. Basically, World Edit. Here we are on a creative copy of the Truly Bedrock world from a couple of days ago, and basically we're going to use World Edit to look at all of the individual villages in this world and find out exactly the center of every one of those villages. The center of the village will of course be the pillow of the bed that belongs to the leader of the village. So once we get the coordinates of that, we'll know which bed belongs to the leader. We can break that bed and eventually force him to relink to this one over here, causing the center of the village to be dragged far enough over that us down at the AFK spot can then, you know, get golems from this farm. As you can see, it does actually function. It functions perfectly fine, but the center is like too far back and too far away from our AFK spot. So what I need to do is I need to trim down this entire world. If we take a look at MCC Tool Chest real quick, you'll notice that there is about 1.5 billion different villages in here. I believe if I go ahead and delete the world and, you know, trim away all of these different regions and stuff, that will significantly reduce all the villages, and that'll make it a lot easier to find out which one of these belongs to our iron farms. And here is our iron farm from space view inside of MCC Tool Chest. So I'm gonna select that chunk over there and then basically select all of these areas. Can I do that real quick? I could do this previously. Oh, there we go. I gotta hold the right click. It's slightly laggy. This is a very large world. Can I just select this entire area? There we go. That's all I need to do. And then we're going to hit this little button down here in the right corner to prune area. That's going to delete everything that is not selected, and that very well might crash the program and or just take a little while to do. But eventually it will trim absolutely everything out of the world. It should delete all the villages that are not inside of this area. Now that the world is trimmed, we can hop in here and everything should be as we left it, except mostly everything not in this area is going to be void, correct? Yeah, absolutely everything past here is void. So if you're not aware, World Edit is slightly broken because of 1.16 updates. So anything you trim is just going to turn into void and not regenerate. That is a bug with world edits. That happens with MCC and Universal Editor. They really need to update that stuff. That way we can have these working. Anyway, now there should only be 4 villages in this entire world. I went ahead and made a copy of the world so that we have a backup of this little, you know, template if we need it in case I mess up. But now for my next trick, I'm going to delete absolutely everything that is not this one singular iron farm, and that should result in only 1 village in the entire world. Here's hoping anyway. Well, unfortunately, deleting those chunks did not delete the villages within those chunks because reasons. So I'm gonna have to go through all of this data manually. As you can see, there is many data. Now, lucky for me, there's actually 3 different files per village. So there's really only a third as many villages as are currently in this list here. And lucky for me as well, it's also kind of like split up into dwellers, info, players, and POI. Actually, no, there's 4 files per village, so there's a quarter as many villages as there is files. So I believe if we go to players, that'll tell you if there's a player inside of that village, like this data right here, and that doesn't really tell you anything about that, does it? I was hoping that would give you location. But also if we open up POI, that'll give us some more data as well, and then that'll eventually give us the coordinates. As you can see, this point of interest is at X 7,400, so that is definitely not the village that we need. So basically I need to just pile through all of this different data and eventually find the data that I'm looking for. So I ended up finding the village in World Edit. However, I'm not sure where in all of that data mess the center of the village is, but I did find the bounding box of the village. So that corner right there was in the data, and that corner over there is in the data. And basically that is the entire bounding box of the village of this iron farm. I didn't mark out the entire box because, like, it's a very large box and I don't need it all marked out. But basically what I did is I went in 33 blocks from the very edge, and that gave us this line right here. And then I went in 33 blocks from that edge over there, which gave us this line right here, which does happen to connect right here in the center. And then if we go down to the center layer of the height of the bounding box, that will give us this bed right here. So in theory, the pillow of this bed should be the center of the village, and where the leader of the village is connected to. So that is the bed on the very back side of the iron farm. The actual guardian farm would be like right there and that area of void. So in theory, if we go ahead and we break this bed and make the leader of the village link to like this one over here, the iron farm should work on Truly Bedrock. See, things take a lot of work sometimes. All of this kind of stuff happens in the background of YouTube videos all the time, and you guys just like barely ever see it. Well then, you know the deal. All we gotta do is go up here, break that bed, and hopefully realign it to the one closest to the Guardian Farm. And hopefully after all that, it just works. If it doesn't work, then basically Omega level sadness. Just gonna record this so I can see what's happening. If I could break that bed, that would be great. So then he linked to this bed. We're gonna break that one too. And then we're gonna see that he linked over to this bed? Question mark? It was one of these 3 beds. Uh-oh. And there we go! 25 tries later, we finally got the bed that we wanted. And now it is time for the moment of truth. I've been AFKing for about 30 minutes or so, and we will see if we have any iron in the chest, and not a single thing. Sadness. Now there is a chance that possibly the golem is like stuck in here somewhere, and it's just not able to like, you know, go into the kill chamber or something, but that doesn't explain the lack of cats. Okay, so it's just, there's nothing in here. It has a spot. Okay, I think we broke it even more. Urgh. Angry sounds. Angry, disappointment, sad sounds. Bye. Okay, so the farm does still work, obviously. All 4 of them still work, but this one now doesn't spawn anything at all, like in general, when we're standing at the AFK spot. Very interesting. I'm thinking what I'm gonna have to do is basically tear down the whole thing and basically destroy the village. If I can rebuild the village, then I'll know where the center of the village is and I can build it right from the beginning. Oh, it's gonna take a lot of time. I'm gonna do that on the live stream. We're gonna move on to some other projects right now, and I guess we'll revisit this at the end of the episode. I really just want to get all 4 of these working. Why are they so difficult? I just want iron. So many stonks. In other news, we did harvest all the iron from all the other farms, and we got about 4 stacks of blocks. So that's pretty good. So now I want to try and lower down the item collection for this kelp farm. It's gonna be a lot of work, but overall, in the long run, I believe it's gonna look a lot better than it does currently, and it's gonna give us a lot more options for just making it blend together with the base. The way that I built it was definitely the easy way of like getting that entire project done, but it's not gonna look as good as it should. So, the easiest way to do this, I believe, is just gonna place down a couple of sponges, and then every few blocks, place down another couple. That'll get rid of the top couple layers of water, as you can see. And then we need to basically lower down this entire thing by 4 blocks. We're going to switch out all of the light blue glass for cyan. Seems how that is the same kind of glass that we use for the Guardian farm. And I did not realize that until I had already built up the entire kelp farm. And then we're just basically going to build it the same way that we built it in the last episode. We'll have a floor of slabs right about here. The water will go above that, and then the item collection ice streams will be a couple blocks down from here. So to put all those words into a visualization for you, this is kind of what we need to do. We need to lower this ice stream by 2 blocks and lower this by 2 blocks. That way the water flows above the buttons right here, and then of course we have like the extra top layer of water right here, just to make the water flow far enough to actually flow above that button and push everything into the item collection. So by lowering it down by 2 blocks, the very top layer of water for the item collection is going to be at the same layer as the ocean level, which is exactly what we want, and that is going to make this a lot easier to decorate and a lot easier to blend in to the surrounding builds without standing out like a sore thumb. The kelp farm has been rebuilt at the lower level, and you can tell pretty much just from the flyby, the one on the left has been redone, the one on the right is not redone, and it just looks a lot better already. Even without any decoration at all, it being at the same layer as the ocean really does do a lot for it. Now you can actually look across the horizon, and it makes sense. It's another like a divot in the ocean compared to the Guardian farm, whereas if you come stand over here and look at the Guardian farm, it's like, oh yeah, we got a big hole in the ground, and then we got like a tsunami coming towards us with that kelp farm, which doesn't look good at all. So that is now done and dusted, and we just need to do that on the other side, but I'll do that in another live stream as well, because live streams are great for that kind of project. As for the Western Iron Farm, you know how the saying goes, it's no fun to fix something that's just barely broken, it's really only fun to fix something that's extremely broken. Or maybe only I say that, because I'm pretty dumb. Anyway, this iron farm is now way more broken than before, and you can really only understand the chaos that went into this if I show you a couple of the stream clips. I refuse to move the villagers. Oh my god, damn it. I guess I'm moving the villagers. Tell me. Oh no, I was just about to say, please tell me none of them fell into the ocean. The moment I look back, one falls into the... No! Get out of there. Stop falling into the ocean, you idiots. Oh my god. To be continued. Let's see how this works. Water's probably gonna push them down, or they're just gonna drown. This actually works pretty well. Gotta move them to the side so they actually don't drown. No! Oh my god. Well, I guess they're not gonna escape because they're just gonna both die. All right. So basically, there was an extreme cascade of derp after derp after derp after derp. It was the worst thing in my entire existence, and now we need to breed up 2 more villagers, and we need to create an entirely new village over here. And in order to do that, I need to move all 8 of those villagers out to about there, I believe, just super far away. I need to give them ample time to unlink from the beds that are over there, because that's where they're currently linked for some reason. They shouldn't be able to link that far, but they can, because reasons. Anyway, once we get them moved out there, I can then create another village, find out who the village leader is, and then walk them in towards the center, kind of similar to how we build the stacked iron farms. And then finally, I can properly move the center of the village to this exact block right here, and finally, the iron farm will work. So here is hoping that in the next episode, we can finally put these iron farms behind us. And my god, that'll be the best thing in the world. I swear, if they break after that, I'll just have to fix them again, because I'm way too stubborn and way too determined to have only 3 iron farms. So what were we actually trying to get done today? Fix the iron farms? We did actually fix one of them, but we kind of broke one, and like really badly, so I don't think we can call that a success at all. We did actually get many irons. As you can see, we got like over 10, 11 stacks of iron blocks. That's pretty solid. We even got like a lot more in the iron farms as well, because I've been AFKing for about 4 or 5 hours today, with the second account on and everything. We're not going to have a 16 temple beacon today. I'm going to have to talk to Groova Guy and see what kind of deal I can make for some wither skulls. We did lower one of the Kelp Farm item collections, so that's going very well. The other one we're going to do in between episodes, or maybe in the next episode on a live stream. I don't really know. We'll figure that out. We had 0 time today to plan the base and make a scale model, because that iron farm took up all of my time in the entire world, and I completely regret doing anything at all with that in today's episode. So hopefully next episode we'll be able to plan the base. I'll be able to tell you the full plan for this area. We'll build a scale model. It'll be great. But until then, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Truly Bedrock Season 2. Thank you ever so much for watching these episodes. I really do appreciate it. And otherwise, I'll see you guys down in the comment section and in the next one. And then there was silence.